Coil pots have been around since just about the beginning of mankind. Today I'm going to show you how you can teach middle schoolers or high school students about coil pots and just some general techniques and things to keep in mind. The idea that I would like this lesson focused around is that artists can create personal meaning through coil pots. Before you make the base, we are going to construct a template. A template will help us envision what the whole piece will look like and keep our eyes on symmetry. Not all coil pots have to be symmetrical. To make the template, take a piece of rectangular cardboard and draw a silhouette in pencil. As you consider the shape, think about the meaning. What meaning can I gather or create from this shape? How can I relate it to something that means something to me? If you don't want to add personal narrative or meaning in any way, that's okay too. But remember that meaning helps artists connect to their artwork. After you decided on a shape you like, cut it out with a pair of strong scissors, an X-Acto knife, or a box cutter. Now you're officially ready to consider your base. Your base needs to be a circle. How big or how small your circle ends up being will depend on how wide or thin you want your vessel to be. Bases are very important. The entire vessel is going to be on top of it. Start by kneading a ball of clay. Get rid of all of the air bubbles and even out the moisture. This is going to ensure that the base will be secure and stable. The next step is to make a slab. After you finish kneading, start your slab by directionally dropping it on the table. Notice how the clay is either going towards me or to the left or to the right when I throw it on the table. It is stretching out as I do that. The next step will be to take it to the slab roller. There are some key parts to the roller: a dial, measurements, and this wheel. By turning the dial, the thickness of the clay will change. Turning one way makes it thinner, the other will make it thicker. When you roll, place the clay on a board with a piece of canvas on it. This will keep the clay from sticking to the board. Place another piece of canvas on top so the clay won't be imprinted or get stuck to the rollers. Turn the wheel. This will push the clay through the rollers at your desired thickness and out the other end. For this next step, you will need a wooden modeling tool or a fettling knife, a needle tool, and a bowl of slip with a paintbrush. Draw a line with your finger for the shape of your base, then use the wooden tool to cut it out. Now that you have your base, you need to score, slip, and attach your coils. Use the needle tool in a cross-hatching-like pattern, going all the way around, going multiple times around if you feel that you need to. Next, apply a layer of slip with the paintbrush. To make coils, take a piece of kneaded clay, squeeze it in your palm, and make a log-like shape. This helps compress the clay and make it stronger. Next, roll the log out with your hands. Make sure to roll with your whole hand. This will make your coil round. From your first coil to the last, you will refer to your template. Place your coil in line with the template, outside to go outward, inside to go inward, and pinch to attach. Pinch in this motion if you want the clay to compress or press inward, and pinch in this direction if you want the clay to thin out or expand outward. Once your coils are attached by pinches, smooth out the lines. This is optional, but it will also help make your bond stronger. Continue to consider meaning. Will lines add to my meaning? Will lines take away from my meaning? These are things to think about as you're making the vessel. Another great tool for making coil pots is a paddle. Paddles can take just about any form, from tools that look like your typical paddle to things that just have flat edges. This is just a rectangular prism cut piece of wood, and I'm using it to paddle my coil pot. When you use the paddle, it's ideal for your vessel to be slightly more dry in that area. When you paddle wet clay, it reverberates through the entire vessel and affects the entire shape, whereas a drier clay pot will only react in that specific area that you paddle. Another great tool to keep in mind is a turntable. A turntable will make it a lot easier to keep symmetry in mind and to make the time go a lot faster as you're working. When you make a coil pot, you have to leave time for it to dry. Bottom parts need to be drier than the top parts so that your vessel will be more secure. In order to keep your top part of your piece from drying out, make sure to put moist paper towels on that area. That will ensure that it doesn't dry out and it'll be softer than the rest of your coil pot. After you put on the paper towels, loosely drape a plastic bag over your piece. This will keep it from drying too fast, and it will also help it not stay really wet. As Linda Cordell puts it, clay is a bully, and you need to play by its rules. This is going to shape every individual person's experience with clay because of the fact that you have to abide by it. Every single person will have a different kind of interaction. This is going to shape any problems you encounter, or any solutions that you may find, or any just techniques that you come across that work better. Making a coil pot from a template can be very rewarding. Something to keep in mind is that it's not just a skill or a decoration. It can be something that you really give meaning to or take meaning away from. And it's something that you can give it. So in the end, I decided to give my coil pot a meaning of a marriage. The top and the bottom halves represent a husband and a wife, and the link in the middle is what links them as one, even though they're still two separate entities, and their juxtaposition is regarding their role in the marriage. And that has made it a lot more meaningful to me as the artist. I don't expect the viewer to understand that, but the viewer is not really my concern with this particular vessel, and I just want to share with young artists and teachers that artwork doesn't have to have a readable meaning. It can just have a personal meaning, and that personal meaning can be conveyed through